Hi guys, my name's Alan Gilday. A very warm welcome to Create Your Abundance. And today we're going to be looking at ways in which we can enhance our natural well-being. And having studied a fair bit of Tony Robbins, who I really recommend you go and check out, immediately immerse yourself in Tony Robbins' output. He's really outstanding. He gives you some of the best toolkit for personal development and for state management that I have ever come across. And what I want to do with you is just super condense some of what I've learned from Tony and pass it on to you. Now, if we want to enhance our well-being, it's really imperative that we manage our states, we manage the physical vitality of our body. Otherwise, we don't have any energy or enthusiasm to pursue any course of action. We may have a very, very tantalizing and inspiring vision for how our life should be, but if we don't actually have anything more than the energy of a slug in a puddle, we're not going to be able to get off our butts and take action, because it does take massive strategized action to move us towards the kind of goals that are actually worth moving towards. If all we want to do is clear the next level in Call of Duty, or eat another couple of bags of potato crisps, those are fairly achievable outcomes without too much trouble. But the ones that actually move us forward and improve us and are fulfilling and challenging are the ones that, generally speaking, take us a good bit outside of our comfort zones. So first and foremost, Tony talks about 3 key areas that we can master in order to be able to create instant change in our state. First of all, physiology. Understanding our physiology and how we can change it to be able to create more powerful and creative physical states from which to live our life. Secondly, mastering communication. Communication with the outer world, with other people, and communication with ourselves. Perhaps, first and foremost, the key foundation that will allow us to relate to other people more effectively and certainly become better listeners and less judgmental. And finally, the third thing that Tony emphasizes is focus. What we focus on, because what we tend to focus on tends to grow, at least in our perception. What you focus on grows. So that's very, very important that we can train our minds to focus on specific things that put us into empowering states. So again, just to recap, the 3 things that are very important are for us to understand physiology, to master communication, and finally to be able to choose effective things to focus on out of any given situation. So in today's short video, what we're going to look at is a kind of whiz through, super condensed resume, if you will, of the important aspects of how we can start to improve our physiology, leading to more vibrant well-being and enhanced vitality. And let's face it, that's something that practically all of us want, whether or not we're prepared to make the lifestyle changes and commitments that are necessary for most of us to achieve that. So let's turn our attention to how we can effectively manage more empowering states through better understanding our physiology. And at the outset, let me say, I am not a qualified medical expert. Please always consult your physician or your doctor before considering any change to your diet or your exercise regime. Okay, so all I'm doing is sharing what I have found has worked for me and putting it out there for you to consider as a possibility, with a view to encouraging you towards making inroads to better health and vitality. Okay, so first and foremost, sleep. Our bodies are designed to get 6 to 8 hours sleep in the vast majority of instances. That's what we need to function properly, physiologically and mentally. We all know how groggy we can feel if we've been deprived of a good night's sleep, and it can throw the circadian rhythms of our bodies out of sync and really throw us for a bit of a wobbler. Caffeine is not an effective way to remedy that situation. All it does is kind of stimulate the adrenal system and doesn't actually give us real energy. It just burns up residual energy in our system and leaves us feeling a bit zinged and drained. So sleep, very, very important. Hydration. You're getting the point here that these are not rocket science insights, they're absolute fundamentals. We need to drink plenty of fresh, clean, non-fluoridated water every day. So some people have said like up to 6 litres. I would find your own level, but certainly we want to be drinking enough water that our bodies are flushed and clean, and that allows the body to expel toxins and to keep the whole apparatus of the body properly hydrated. After all, we're, 75% water? Something in that ballpark. And so it's very, very easy for us to get dehydrated, especially with the sedentary lives that we lead in overheated offices and stuffy living rooms with air conditioning, closed windows and all that sort of thing. So again, hydration, keep that active and make a concerted effort to drink more water than we normally should, and it should not be flavoured water. Never put aspartame flavoured sweeteners and artificial sweeteners in your water. Defeats the very purpose. It's adding more toxicity to the system instead of flushing it out and keeping us clean and hydrated. Also there, we just touched on fresh air. That's something that Don Tolman talks about a lot. Don's a wonderful teacher and a very kind of charismatic character who talks about the health benefits of a largely raw food, plant-based diet. Now, Don is extremely entertaining on that subject. I encourage you to go and check out what he has to say. But one of the things that struck me listening to Don was his emphasis on fresh air. Well circulated fresh air and being out in nature, because that's vital, he says, to our physical well-being and also our mental well-being as well. It keeps the body and mind clear and strengthens the constitution. So he always insisted on sleeping with the window open. First thing in the morning, we'll open the doors to let air move through the house and move through the office, wherever you're working, okay? If you are in an office, get up every sort of 45 minutes, take a 2 or 3 minute break from the computer, just walk around. If you can just go for a quick walk around the block, get a glass of water, come back. Mentally and physically, you'll start to feel much more refreshed, and actually your work will improve, your output and quality of work will improve correspondingly. Diet is obviously crucial and something that there's so much abundance of information and probably misinformation and disinformation out there. Again, find your own way. But what I'm finding that's working for me, and certainly listening to many people whose opinions I respect on the basis of their research and their results, is a diet that's very rich in plants, water-based, water-rich plants, that especially including a lot of raw organic fruits and vegetables. If you can get a lot of lovely organic greens and juice them, that will flush your system through and alkalize the blood chemistry, because with our breads and chocolates and coffees and beers, all those lovely comfort foods that we all enjoy so much, they tend to acidify through turning to sugar. And then the body's reaction to this acidifying process is to protect itself by creating plaque or isolating toxic elements and protecting them with tumours. So this is, now again, please go and do your own research, but this is the work of like Dr. Robert Young that I found to be very, very interesting. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Again, more plant-based, vegetarian food seems to be more healthy for most of us, and certainly if we can reduce the amount of meat that we're intaking, that seems to be a positive step in the right direction, because there does seem to be a correlation between high amounts of animal protein and cancers and other serious conditions. And obviously then exercise. If it's at all possible, and it is at all possible, let's get 45 minutes to 1 hour of exercise every day. Again, consult your physician or your doctor before starting any such program, and always do what's comfortable for you in consultation with a medical expert. But by and large, if you're a fit adult, let's look at ways in which you could just get out, ideally in nature, stretch your legs, just get the sweat going, get the heart working, get the lungs working. That exercise, that moderate exercise, is just working the lymph through the system, cleaning out our bodies and keeping everything flowing and moving really nicely. There's lots and lots of various, I mean, it's such a truism to say there's so many forms of exercise that are available to us today through yoga and martial arts and jogging and running and swimming and going to the gym to work out and all these wonderful things that we can do. Dancing, for example, is another wonderful celebratory way in which we can move our bodies and feel great. But find something that works for you. Find something that isn't an onerous, repetitive chore. For many people, for example, going to the gym is just a robotic, stale, listless and unpleasant experience. So get out into a park, do something wonderful, go for a run around the coast if you're blessed enough to live near the coast or in the countryside. Do what it takes to get yourself moving. Movement is medicine. Movement is medicine, and when our bodies are stale and stuck and frozen, then we tend to go into rather static and listless states of being also. Now, having worked as an actor, this is something that I've come to understand, and if an actor wants to get into character, as it were, playing, say, a depressed person, they understand the need to change the physiology of the character that they're playing. So they may start to breathe in a more shallow, cramped way. They might have a very hunched, stooped physique, the head down. And if you hold that position and that kind of breathing rhythm, that kind of muscle tension, maybe tension up in the mouth, it's not long before you actually start to feel those genuine emotions. And through the body becomes a pathway for the actor to experience the emotion of the character that they're inhabiting, as it were. So the body can create emotion. So it's very, very important that we know how to use the body and run different programs in it when we want to change the emotions that we're feeling. So for example, if we're feeling very depressed or cramped or bored or in a bit of a brain fog, simply by standing up, moving around, opening the chest, straightening the back, lifting the chin and breathing deeply, and dare I say it, even smiling, we can release the chemicals in the brain that actually fool the body into thinking it's actually happy. Okay, so that's really important. And the interesting insight there is that emotion is used to create your body in the same way that your body creates emotion. Okay, so you can use emotion to change your physiological state. And in fact, I think it was the University of California did research on people who were clinically depressed, and simply by getting them to stand in front of a mirror and smile, okay, whether they felt like it or not, and obviously these people didn't feel like it, smile into the mirror for, I think it was 5 to 6 minutes a day, there was something like a 60 to 70% increase in the total well-being of many of these people who have been clinically depressed. And again, consult your physician, okay? This is not medical advice. It's information that has come to me that I find interesting that I'm sharing to you. But you can look this up for yourself and certainly experiment, stand in front of the mirror, make yourself smile, and you will start to feel better because the brain starts to think, oh, the body's smiling, I must be feeling good. Now this is a problem for some people who've had plastic surgery. Some actors and actresses find that because their faces are frozen, as it were, they are unable to access certain emotions because the body can no longer go into the physiological state that it needs to create the chemicals. So the conundrum there is that the actor or actress has created, has got this cosmetic surgery in order to enhance their careers and to maintain their looks. But in so doing, they've kind of cut off some of the biofeedback systems that the body needs to know what it is that it's actually feeling. So I hope that this kind of little random scattered approach to looking at physiology has given us something to think about together. And in the next video we can look into ways in which we can improve the ways that we communicate internally with ourselves. And in the third video we can have a look then about focus and the power of focusing. So I really hope you've enjoyed this. Please comment, thumb up, please subscribe. It would be great to stay in touch. And by all means, if this has been useful to you, please share. That would be great help to us in building Create Your Abundance as well. And indeed, if you're interested in finding out ways in which you can use your passion and blog your passion to create an income and to share your wisdom and your truth with others, then click on the link below. Thanks for your time and attention. See you in the next video.